All right, we are live. We are back. Oh, it feels good today, don't it? Oh, man, I am telling you, it gets better by the minute. Better by the minute. Good to see everybody join me this afternoon for a special live. I know I haven't been on for a bit. Been busy. Working here, working there. Well, you know, when you got to do what you got to do it. Just like we're going to do it today. How's everybody doing? Good to see everyone. My goodness. I know it's been a bit. Di Jackson in the house. BW in the house. Carol Smith, much love to you. Thank you so much for keeping me updated and posted, as always. Every time Carol Smith sends me a message, it's like, uh-oh, what happened now? Thanks for keeping me on point, Carol. Shrinking Sharon, hello. My goodness, Ms. Sweets 01 is in the building. Drama Free in the building. Rachalism is in the building. Carla Izuri is in the building. Okay. We got some folks up in here. Shamina Wright, hello. Good to see everybody. I'm sure everybody's been jumping around this afternoon. You know why? I'm here, but I'm driving. Much love. Fire Mama 411. Yes. Well, I'm sure that y'all heard the news. We had a special earlier live on 54 Keys' channel. Roundtable reacts to the verdict in the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial. Classic and Sincere Pettis. I thought I'd jump on here and give some chime in on it. We've been working at the roundtable on this very topic. In fact, we just finished up a 3-hour roundtable react live, which was sensational, absolutely sensational in that live that we covered. If y'all missed that live, it's on 54 Keys' channel, where we do the roundtable. I've been spending most of my time behind the scenes, working on those cases on the roundtable with Bossman Blake, 54 Keys. Oh man, it's been a blessing working with them. Believe me, we have a lot of fun putting it together and delivering it. We have a lot of fun. But it's good to see some names up in here this afternoon. Sage Sleuth, whoa, there she is. I know. Good to see you, Sage. Sage has been covering the Summer Wells case, along with RJ from the Conversations Living Room. I see him up in here. Sassy Rare Breed is up in here. Jennifer, it is a great day. I know, love. I know. I saw you last night on Duty, Ron, hanging out with him and getting all the specs. And we were all busy. All the content creators that were covering this case last night and the weeks before that, all throughout the trial. And I know that Judge Charles Bremer, the court judge in the West case, had made some admonitions regarding sharing and streaming and all this other stuff. And I said, no, I can't touch that. I said, even though I wanted to, I said, oh, we can't touch that because they won't allow certain things. So we let it ride. We let it ride, listen to the stream day in, day out as best we could. Listening to microphones working, microphones not working too well, talking too far away, sounding like they're way in the back. And oh, it was a mess. But nonetheless, to have it culminate into what happened today was extraordinary. And I had a feeling that they were going to have a verdict in just before this weekend. And look out. I was right. I said for them to deliberate as they did and cover as much of the case as they did, they were only going to head towards a couple of points just to fine-tune a timeline of points. And they did that. They did that. 5 out of 7 counts were completed today. Couldn't get them all, only because of Orson. And I kind of felt, well, if I was one of the jurors that sat in that jury room deliberating on Orson, there wasn't really much they could have really put their finger on, because it was just so, it just wasn't there. He showed up in California City, California one day, and then boom, he disappeared. Okay, so what happened to him? What happened to him is what they tried to grab. And you know something happened to him. But the answer is what? What truly was the outcome of little Orson? A thump in the night is what they told us. That's it. So you as a member of the jury thinking that that's all the information that they could give you. There was just a thump in the night, and the next day he was gone. We didn't see him no more. So what could you make of it? But for Orrin, oh, they nailed it down for Orrin. And obviously from where this story started, back in California City, California. Let me go to work here with you. I know it's been a bit. I have down here. Let me share with you something here. You know me, I like to do a little map work. That's if my Google is up and running. Okay. Let's see if I can recalibrate it here for a second. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on. A lot going on. My goodness, much love, much love. We got, everybody coming in. Where's Summer? 1-800-TBI-FINE is up in the house. Jackie Barty is in the house. Sandra Latham is in the house. Well, good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing over here working like I want it. You know how I do it. I gotta get it working like I need it working, because it gotta work. Gotta work. You know how we gotta go to good old map work here. See if we can get it down to the courthouse. Boom, in Bakersfield. Down to the courthouse where it took place early this morning, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. I said, wait a minute, they're not going to start at 9? 11. Sounds like they're going to get ready to do something. And the only reason why they changed it to the 11 a.m. mark was because of scheduling reasons. But I said, yeah. I says, I know that kind of schedule when you're talking about a third day into the trial. Third day into the trial. Let's see if we can jump down here real quick and get a closer look at this building over here where everything had taken place. Right here. Kern County Supreme Court. Everything happened in a short order of time, too. And you best believe they did their due diligence in this case. For all of the people that were involved in the support of Classic and Sincere Pettis, my heart and my love goes out to you, especially family members of the boys. Miss Roro has been at this, boots on the ground. Miss Crenshaw, at this, boots on the ground. Miss Jennifer Nobles, who's in the chat, at this, boots on the ground. Much love and props. Miss Keisha, I believe her name is Keish or Keisha, one of the two names. I hope I'm not messing that up. Boots on the ground, as well as all of us. Because I told you, when we get to this point, I was going live. And we're here at this point. And I wanted to make sure that we put some coverage on this. But this afternoon, I wanted to share with you some of the court findings, and I'm sure that a lot of you are very happy. And you got the major ones that stuck. That's the key. The big ones. 5 out of 7, okay, we'll take them. We'll take them, because those folks are going away. They're going away, you know. And for it to have all happened all started here at the Casa Loma Apartments. It's what we found out. The story began with them going missing in December of 2020 out of California City, California. They came out and did their press conference and told us a whole bunch of things that we found shady from day one. Day one. Renegade is in the house. Okay. Long time, Renegade. Brother Renegade. Good to see you. Aries baby's up in here too? Okay. All right. But yeah, a lot of shady nonsense. It was cold. I went out to get some wood. I was throwing wood. As the story goes, and him going back and forth in the house by carrying this firewood because it was cold, turned around, the boys were there, turned back around, they went missing. You remember that story. But here's where they came from, the Casa Loma Apartments, Casasa Loma Apartments here in Bakersfield. And they took us from this point all the way out here to California City, California. Here. This was the house they bought. This is where the story started. In the middle of nowhere in the boondocks, wanting to live off the grid is where this story started. Good to see everybody coming in. My goodness. Only to tell us a story that would take them 2 years to really sort out. Story that didn't have any much more meaning than the meaning that they gave it. But I want you to take a look at this for a second. Look at us. Y'all see that? There's California City, California right here. Look at it. As I pull up, it looked like a moon crater. A moon crater. A hole in the earth, a small one at that. This is where they moved to. Not anywhere in Bakersfield. They moved way out here. I'm like, huh? It's crazy. Way out here. Nothing out here. I said, where are the schools and shopping malls and all the places you would go as a family? All we kept hearing is that they kept going from California City, California, all the way back here to Bakersfield. All the way back here to Bakersfield. Back and forth, back and forth. But as the story unfolded in court outside of their story that they told December of 2020, I said, now the pieces are starting to fall together. You have an incident occurring in Bakersfield. 6 children, 6 boys, 2 biological, 2 adopted, and Classic and Sincere, living in an apartment building here at the Casa Loma Apartments. Do you think that they had the room for 6 kids to live in this apartment complex? I didn't think so. You need a bigger place. But the funny thing about that is that they were hardly ever seen. The boys were hardly ever seen. Neighbors, hey, have you seen the boys? Have you seen this family that lived over here in Casa Loma? Oh, not really. I mean, I saw 4 of them. I only saw 3 of them. I saw 4 of them. I scratched my head and I said, okay, I'll make a note of that. Not really seen here in Casa Loma. I said, oh, okay. I mean, it's a short apartment complex, not very big. It is connected to 2 other apartment complexes on the same block. They got 6 kids, all being, quote unquote, as Trezell said, rambunctious. Because you got kids under the age of 12 living in a household called an apartment. 6 kids in an apartment. Think about that for a minute. With, of course, the boys being rambunctious. What do you think the children would be doing? Staying quiet and sitting in a corner watching TV and not making a sound? But the details that came out in court were vivid, they were troubling, and they were absolutely amazing to even find out. And then the differences in what we found out. Their story out of California City, California, and then the trial's story as to how everything unfolded from this point up until they got to California City, California. Only to have found out that one of the boys didn't even make it to California City. That one being Orrin. Something happened to Orrin here. And we heard the details as to what had occurred. So right then and there, when that fact was brought out, I said, then that kills the California City, California story. Right there. You say the boys went missing in California City, California, but now in trial, we find out that one of the boys, Orrin, didn't even make it. So how could they have gone missing together in California City, California? They couldn't have. They couldn't have. And then we find out that from this moving to California City, California, now something happens to Orson. Unbelievable. But we found out what we needed to find out. From Casa Loma, let's see where I have my search here. I thought I had this pulled up. All the way from here, an hour's drive south of there, southeast, to Aspen Avenue, where allegedly the boys went missing. We saw them get into the white van, only 4 children on the 19th. Remember that video that A.B. Watchman had recorded on his phone? Much credit goes out to A.B. Watchman for his due diligence out there with boots on the ground, members that I had named before, out here searching for these boys. Will CPS so crooked they will take the kids that don't need to be taken and leave the ones that do. It's so sad. That's right, Carol. It is. It is. How you doing, Will Forever? Thank you for joining us. Molly 13 is in the building. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So we know that 4 children left with them, and they went from this location all the way back to Bakersfield to Potomac. Here. See if I can drop down here to Grandma's house. Right here. Wanda and Philip West, Trezell West's mother and father. Just 4. Oh, where's Orson and Orrin? Oh, they're with Maria. Isolating the boys is what we found out. Making sure that they had a story to tell. And they told it. But you know something? She hadn't seen those boys since February. Wanted a picture close to the holidays of all of the boys together in their robes, which she never got. But just thinking about it, since February, earlier in the year, no picture, no proof of life. And Jacqueline's mother couldn't even remember their names. I said, this is going south quick for these people. And I listened and continued to listen to the court dialogue, especially Eric Smith, the prosecutor in the case, take us back and forth between the time that they were doing all this running around. Up until now, they got to a different point. Let me see if I can bring this up. Because there were some very good questions in the live react that we did at the roundtable in regards to the 7 counts, how that was applied when the jury went to deliberate. Let's see if I can find that piece. Welcome everybody. Let's see if I can find, oh yeah, okay. I think I found it here. Okay. Good to see everybody this afternoon. Oh, I'm excited. But yeah, here we had the story by Bakersfield Now. This was done and completed at 2:36 p.m. this afternoon. And Bakersfield, California. A Kern County jury has found Trezell and Jacqueline West guilty of 5 of the 7 counts they were charged with Friday morning in regards to Orrin and Orson West. The jury did not find a verdict for 2 counts, second-degree murder and conspire to commit a crime. Those counts are in regards to 3-year-old Orson West. The West reported the toddlers missing nearly 2.5 years ago. On the night of December 21st of 2020, the family was living at their home in California City at the time of the disappearance. They alleged the boys were last seen playing in their backyard. The West were facing a total of 7 charges, including 2 counts of murder, second degree, involuntary manslaughter, which came from the second indictment in June, 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child, conspire to commit a crime, and false report of an emergency. Now, the juries found Trezell guilty of second-degree murder out of the first indictment, involuntary manslaughter out of the second indictment, 2 counts of willfully cruelty to a child out of both indictments, false reporting of an emergency. But the jurors did not find for Trezell the second degree and the conspiracy to commit a crime regarding Orson. Jacqueline, the jurors found Jacqueline guilty of second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child, and false reporting of an emergency, but did not find anything pertaining to Orson. So here now, I hope I can play it. Well, let me do this first. You know me. I got to go back here and find my little, YouTube has been very, very shaky about, oh, you can't play this, and oh, you can't play that. No, don't do this. Let me just do this real quick. Got to throw out my disclaimer. Okay. So let me see if I can do this real quick. This is recent. This just came out. They're beginning to post stuff. See if I can get this to go. Get these news clips that come out, and they take a while to actually process. I am so glad to hear what I heard today. Hands down. Hands down. Thank you, Cal, for dropping the links in the chat pertaining to 54 Keys and Boss Blake. We got an RJ. Is he still in here? We can drop his link in there too. Shrinking Sharon, we can drop her link. I think there were a couple of other people, but yeah, definitely drop the link. Okay, come on, you were working before. While we wait for that, it just seemed like anytime that there was a news clip, these were the faces that just stayed like stone. Jacqueline and Trezell. Emotionless. So here it says the trial began on March 28th of 2023 with opening statements and closing arguments being presented on May 16th. Sentencing is scheduled for July 13th. And they're just getting close to that article. Maybe I can play it here. Hey, there it is.
This is breaking news.
All right, well, good morning to you. I'm Stacey Rasmussen. We're back on the air at this hour because we now know the verdict in the trial of Trezell and Jacqueline West. After a little over 2 days of deliberations, a Kern County jury finding the couple guilty of murdering Orrin. The jury could not reach a verdict on Orson, but let's go over all of the charges real quick. So we have guilty on second-degree murder, again, for Orrin, involuntary manslaughter, willful cruelty to a child. That one's twice. So 2 charges of willful cruelty of a child and false report of an emergency. That's guilty for both Trezell and Jacqueline. Now, the jury could not come to a conclusion on 1 count of second-degree murder. So that's for the other child, Orson, as well as conspire to commit a crime. So at that point, we have no decisions made on those 2. They could not come up with a decision. And they said that despite if they were to continue to discuss more, that they don't think they could come up with an outcome. But those original charges that we read, the big one being that they were found guilty of 1 count of second-degree murder. Those decisions were being read out loud just moments ago inside of a downtown Bakersfield courtroom. And this comes nearly 2.5 years since the toddlers were reported missing. from the West home in California City. The verdict, a long time coming for family members and loved ones, and honestly, community members who have rallied together trying to find out where these boys were. So yes, like I said, it's come after a big decision coming, but I am joined now with our evening anchor, Michael Patterson. And Michael, we have a lot to unravel here. This is arguably one of the most closely watched trials in Kern County history.
Yeah, I mean, there is, without a doubt, it goes without saying that there has been a lot of attention on this case, not just from local media, but we're talking national media. There's been a lot of conversation on social media as well. This is a case that is going to be sitting in the minds of many people in this community and around the state of California for a really long time.
Absolutely. And even to the fact of, yes, people, have rallied around trying to find where the boys. So that's where it started. There was national people trying to find where these boys were. There was billboards put out across the country, and then it turned into, okay, what happened? Who murdered these boys? When the DA's office came out with the conclusion that they thought that these boys were murdered, and now we are finally getting kind of some closure to what kind of has gone on. And
yeah, I mean, in a way, you do talk about it. This case has been going on for, almost 2.5 years at this point. And you talk about closure, but there are still some questions being asked because, like you mentioned, not all of those charges being found guilty on. Each of the parents facing 7 charges there, and 2 of those, the jury unable to reach a verdict, like you mentioned. If we're able to bring up that list of charges right here on the screen again, unfortunately, we don't here right at this moment. But like you did mention, each of those parents facing 7 charges, finding guilty on 5 of them. Again, the 2 they are not found, the jury unable to find a verdict on, was that one of those counts of second-degree murder for Orson, as well as that situation there. And it is many people asking questions at this point now on social media. I have Twitter feeds pulled up, and a lot of people just wondering why not all 7 of those cases, the jury wasn't able to find that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have some video coming in now with some team coverage as well. So we've been following this historic verdict. I mean, now having some of these answers, and like you said, we want to take a listen into the verdict of what was actually being read in that courthouse after what we just told you.
The people of the state of California versus Trezell West, case BF 188340A. Verdict. Bakersfield, California, May 18, 2023. First count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Trezell West, guilty of felony, to wit, murder in the second degree, in violation of Section 187, paren A of the Penal Code as charged in the first count of the indictment.
Now, do y'all see what he looks like? It's like reality just hit him. Oh, shit. They caught me. They got me. When him and Jacqueline pled not guilty, they knew all the stuff was going to come out. They knew all of it was going to come out, but they took their chances. They rolled the dice. They made their defense counsel believe that they were innocent, that the boys were missing. But look at his face. How you doing, Miss Q? Miss Q News is in the building. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I know you're happy too. But yeah, this stone-faced killer had his moment this morning, our afternoon, if you're on the east side, but on the East Coast, but this morning in California. Let us resume, because this gets better, and continue to watch his face as they read off the guilty counts.
Signed, foreperson. Second count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Trezell West, guilty of felony, to wit, involuntary manslaughter, in violation of Section 192, paren B of the Penal Code as charged in the second count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson. Third count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Trezell West, guilty of felony, to wit, willful cruelty to a child in violation of section 273A, paren A of the Penal Code as charged in the third count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson. Sixth count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Trezell West, guilty of felony, to wit, willful cruelty to child in violation of section 273A, paren A of the Penal Code as charged in the sixth count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson.
He looks like he's aging right
count.
before our
We, the
eyes.
jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Trezell West, guilty of misdemeanor, to wit, false report of an emergency in violation of section 148.3, paren A of the Penal Code as charged in the seventh count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your true verdict as read?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, is there any reason why the court should not accept the verdict as to Mr. Trezell West?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hennessy,
No, Your Honor.
the court accepts the verdict. Would either counsel like the jury to be polled in regard to the verdicts for Trezell West?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, would you like me to do that per count? Or just as to the verdict?
You can do that to the verdict.
And the judge is getting
What I'm going to
confirmation.
ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'll go one by one, and the question will be, is this your true and correct verdict as read in regard to each count that you made a finding for Mr. Trezell West? Juror number one,
Yes.
juror number two,
Yes.
number three,
Yes.
number four,
Yes.
number five,
Yes.
number six, number seven, number eight, number nine,
Yes.
number 10,
Yes.
number 11,
Yes.
number 12.
Yes.
Mr. Hennessy, is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Is there any reason why, in regard to Trezell West, the jury could not be excused?
No, Your Honor.
Let's take the verdict then now for Jacqueline West.
Here comes Jacqueline's. Here we go. Watch her
Superior
face.
Court of California, County of Kern. The people of the state of California versus Jacqueline West. Case BF 188340. Verdict. Bakersfield, California, May 18, 2023. First count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Jacqueline West, guilty of felony, to wit, murder in the second degree, in violation of section 187, paren A of the Penal Code as charged in the first count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson. Second count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Jacqueline West, guilty of felony, to wit, involuntary manslaughter, in violation of section 192, paren B of the Penal Code as charged in the second count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson. Third count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Jacqueline West, guilty of felony, to wit, willful cruelty to a child, in violation of section 273A, paren A of the Penal Code, as charged in the third count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson. Sixth count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Jacqueline West, guilty of felony, to wit, willful cruelty to a child, in violation of section 273A, paren A of the Penal Code as charged in the sixth count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson. Seventh count. We, the jury, impaneled to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Jacqueline West, guilty of misdemeanor, to wit, false report of an emergency, in violation of section 148.3, paren A of the Penal Code as charged in the seventh count of the indictment. Signed, foreperson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your true verdict as to Jacqueline West as to the counts read?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, is there any reason why the court should not accept?
Even
the
know
verdict
who
in
they
regard
were
to
looking
Jacqueline?
for, but two babies.
No, Your Honor.
So,
Okay, we're going to take a live look out now to Roro, who is the cousin of the biological father speaking after this.
Okay, so now they're outside of the courtroom. I mean, to see their face as we did, and how cold, emotionless. They knew. They were guilty once they opened their mouth at that press conference. They knew it. But now we're going to go outside and of the courthouse. It seems like the news has got some information coming from one of the family members, Miss Roro, I believe. Let's see if we can get it.
Verdict.
Stacy, it was a packed courtroom, people filling the hallway. You could hear cheers. You could hear people crying. And I want to show you all the people here outside the courtroom. It is full of people, supporters. These are family members of the boys, supporters. And take a look at this banner. You can see, just want to make sure you guys have a look at the scene here. And this banner has been since the beginning with the
Wow.
reward money and the number to call for the boys. And I'd say at least a good 30 or 40 people here. So we're gonna get a listen now of what the supporters are saying. Going to Ro, who's a family member.
Somebody knows where these babies' bodies is. Yes. Somebody know. And y'all continue to keep their children in prayer. Yes. Because they didn't just take these children, they took their own children. They fatherless and they motherless, and they got to go through the system now. Yes. And I know we say an eye for an eye and a tooth, whatever that is, but we ain't claiming that because these are still children. Amen. At the end of the day, that they damaged, that their parents damaged them. So y'all need to keep them up in prayer too, regardless.
So that's Roro Wills. She's the cousin of the biological father of Orson. And then Keisha right next to her. Keisha is a friend of the foster mother who had Orrin and Orson before they went to Trezell and Jacqueline. So just a large group of people here. So counts 4 and 5 were the counts the jury could not find a consensus on, but the other counts, both Trezell and Jacqueline found guilty for the other 5 counts. And so the sentencing, July 13th, is when the jury will be back, excuse me, July 13th is when Trezell and Jacqueline will be back, and the attorneys, and talking about if the prosecutor will further pursue counts 4 and 5. But Trezell and Jacqueline found guilty on the other 5 counts. And like we've been saying, there was a lot of emotion, a lot of crying, a lot of cheering in the courtroom when the verdicts were announced, and weeping outside of the courtroom. And so it went pretty fast. Now I can tell you inside the courtroom that Trezell had a somber face, and Tim Hennessy, his lead attorney, he had a somber look on his face too. I didn't get a good view of Jacqueline and her attorney, but obviously, you know, the worst case scenario for them, a guilty murder, and for the 5 counts. And prosecutor Eric Smith, pretty straight face, no emotion, but 2.5 years. Supporters, family members have been waiting for this verdict, and it's been a long trial, over 2 months. So just a lot of people saying, you know, they got what they wanted as far as the verdict, but as you heard Ro and Keisha say, they still want the bodies to be found. They still don't know where the boys are found. That's still the big nugget that has not been answered yet. Where are the boys?
Where are
But
the
they're saying
boys?
now Trezell and Jacqueline are locked up. Stacy, back to you.
All right. Thanks, David.
Where are the boys? I wanted to share that news clip, and they're going to continue to come out overnight on various different channels. I'm sure, I believe Miss Q was just on earlier. She was covering the trial live on her channel. I know that 54 Keys and Bossman Blake and myself, we were just at the round table. We covered the verdict on her channel and covered it from the Twitter account. See if I can find what we were sharing before on the Twitter account, which was booming. I mean, every time I refreshed, it was just clicking and clicking and clicking. So I guess the reporter there, or whoever they had handling the Twitter account, did a very, very good job. So 5 hours ago, court officials sent the following email at 8:52 a.m. Media to be present at 11 a.m. in D4 today, day 4. May 19th with cameras if they wish to film based upon prior court orders. Now we know that Judge Charles Bremer did mention to the folks in the court that they weren't able to record and anything or videotape anything. It was going to be, shut down. But they were able to at least get the opening statements of both the prosecution and defense attorneys in the case. And then we had the blackout. It was auto streamed from the Metropolitan Studio in Kern County, where we had to listen to the trial throughout the whole duration of it. And then they came back today, at least gave us a little bit more of a better view of the court trial. The email did not specify that a verdict had been reached in the trial of Trezell and Jacqueline West, but the court has previously said filming would only be allowed during opening statements, closing arguments, and a verdict or other outcome in the case. As we proceed, the Wests are charged with second-degree murder and other offenses in the death of Orrin 4 and Orson 3. The boys' bodies not been found. Prosecutors allege the boys were killed 3 months before the Wests reported them missing. Defense counsel says the boys were taken from their backyard by an unknown person or persons, and the Wests had nothing to do with their disappearance. Several people have already gathered outside the courtroom ahead of the 11 a.m. hearing. Then we had the defense counsel, Timothy Hennessy, lead counsel for Trezell West, show up outside Department 4, but the doors to the courtroom are still locked. He moved to another courtroom. So far, Timothy Hennessy and Victor Nasser, attorneys for Trezell West, have been spotted on the second floor of the courthouse, but had hearings in other courtrooms. No one's entered Department 4 yet. The bailiff is allowing a cameraman to begin setting up ahead of the 11 a.m. hearing. A couple of attorneys not connected to the case attempted to enter the courtroom, but the bailiff said only attorneys directly involved in the case are allowed to enter at this time. A large turnout is expected. Timothy Hennessy has entered the courtroom. This was 3 hours ago. About a dozen people are waiting outside the courtroom. Alexis Torres Stalling and Fatima Rodriguez, attorneys for Jacqueline West, have entered the courtroom. About a dozen or more members of the public have arrived and are waiting in the hallway as some attorneys. The hallway outside Department 4 is now packed with people. It appears the courtroom will be filled to capacity. It is unclear if everyone will be able to fit inside. Victor Nasser, co-counsel for Trezell West, has arrived. A woman who has been at every hearing told people assembled outside to make sure family gets inside first. No one except attorneys has entered so far. Prosecutor Eric Smith has arrived. All attorneys have now arrived. The bailiff came out and said that there will be 1 row for the media, 1 row for the attorneys, and 6 rows for the public. He cautioned the public not to push or shove as they entered and said the proceedings will be auto-streamed. We should be let out. We should be let in momentarily. The bailiff said that he is dealing with some issues, but hope to begin letting people in soon. Media and the public are entering now. Giselle and Jacqueline West are present with attorneys, as are prosecutor Eric Smith and lead investigator Sergeant Thomas Hernandez from the BPD. Judge Charles R. Bremer has instructed everyone to fill each chair. The courtroom is packed. The hearing has begun. The jury has reached a verdict on 5 of the 7 counts for both defendants, have not reached a verdict on 2 counts, and said they are deadlocked on them. Now, this is where we started getting a little nervous, but the 5 counts, the verdicts on the 5 counts will be taken today, and the jury will be asked if there is anything further that could help them reach a verdict on the other 2 counts. If not, a mistrial will be declared on those 2 counts. The jury is entering the courtroom. The jury has failed to reach a verdict on the charges of second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder as they apply to Orson West. A mistrial has been declared on 2 counts. On count 4, the vote was 8 votes guilty, 4 not guilty. Count 5 had 10 votes guilty and 2 not guilty. Giselle West's verdict will be read first. The verdict is being read. On count 1, second-degree murder, Giselle has been found guilty of second-degree murder. When I heard that, I said, bang. Keep going. Keep going. Larissa Golden, how you doing? I'm just doing a little recap coverage on the court proceedings from the Twitter account. On count 2, involuntary manslaughter, he has been found guilty. On count 3, he was found guilty of child cruelty. On count 6, he was found guilty child cruelty. On count 7, Giselle was found guilty of falsely reporting an emergency. There was a shout when the count was read, but now multiple people are sobbing. Giselle showed no reaction. Of course, because he got caught. The verdict will now be read for Jacqueline West. On count 1, second-degree murder, she has been found guilty of second-degree murder. Guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Guilty of child cruelty. Guilty of other child cruelty charge, and guilty of falsely reporting an emergency. The jury has been excused. Sentencing is set for July 13th. A determination on whether the West will be retried on counts 4 and 5 will be made public at sentencing. Prosecutor Eric Smith said that the gag order remains in place. It's expected to be lifted at sentencing. Attorneys are not allowed to discuss the case until then. End of tweet. So yes, it was exhilarating to hear that at least the major indictment counts were covered, especially the manslaughter, because that came in the second indictment. The first indictment they were charged with second-degree murder. So when the second came in, I said, whoa, wait a minute, did they forget something? And sure enough, when the manslaughter charge came in, that's when they had a third party that was part of that indictment, stating that there was a minor that was involved in the commission of a crime. And we also found out who the minor was during the course of the court proceeding. And I was just like, oh man, how could these people have done something so cruel to these children, why didn't they just give them back to Ryan? If they couldn't handle Classic and Sincere Pettis and they changed their mind, all they could have done was just contact CPS and say, hey, look, we made a mistake. We'd like to reverse the placement aspects of the last two children that we adopted. We can't handle it. Rather than go and do what they did. So what I'm going to basically do here, just to get some of your reactions and stuff, I'm going to drop the link. Anyone who'd love to come up to voice their thoughts about what happened in today's court proceeding, how you think the trial went, and do you think it's a just verdict? I believe so. They got the goods. But we still want to know what happened to the boys. What did they do with them? Where are Classic and Sincere? That's going to continue to ring out from the public. In order to bring those boys home for proper service. Let's see if there was anything else while y'all are in the chat. And we got Flower Bloom is in the building. Welcome. Yes. So yeah, anyone would like to come up and share their thoughts? I'm sure that if you've been following this case over the last 2 years, as we all have, can now voice your thoughts. I just wanted to come on here and jump on here and share some of my thoughts with you regarding this case, which we've been following on different channels. And to say, thank you, Father. Thank you, Father in heaven, for blessing today's verdict with the right one. These people don't deserve to have children ever. Well, they made sure of that. But then again, to think of the other children that were also involved in this case, how life is now going to change for them. How life is going to change for them. Especially when you got a case like this and other children are involved, man, I mean, it's sad. Honest to goodness, it is sad. It's like the Summer Wells case. She had 3 brothers and she goes missing and they get taken away. They get taken away only because mom and dad messed up. Similar in the same ballpark. Are they going to see mom and dad again? We don't know. They haven't even found Summer. Yet they're back on YouTube, I hear, still parading up and down, talking to YouTubers. Let me see what y'all talking about here. Once I get sentences in, I think that's when they may say something. I hope so. It's a possibility. But then again, it's not going to change anything, but it's a possibility. I don't think once you adopt, you can return the children. I don't know. But you figure if you got six, your age is 34 and 36 years old. You got six boys under 10, under 11, let's just say. You live in an apartment called the Casa Loma Apartments. It's not enough room to, my goodness, I can imagine what the rooms were like. And how much noise kids make. Think about it. I remember when mine were that age, running around and, doing their thing, carefree. They don't know how much noise they're making or get excited about something or, But to have done what they did to those boys, you're going to blend up food and put it in a bottle and make them drink it. Lord knows what was in the bottle. Lord knows what they could have put in the bottle to try to control the children from being so rambunctious. Lord knows. Thank you for everything y'all do covering the cases. Thank you, Flower. Thank you. I feel bad for those other kids. Absolutely. The defendants hide the bodies to an unknown location so they can't never be found. Right. Yeah. And that's going to be on their mind while they are in jail. Every single moment going forward, what they did, where they took them, and most likely where they discarded them, if that's what they did. If that's what they did. I pray the other children go with a family that will love them like they need to be loved. Yes, Miss Sweets. Absolutely. Absolutely. I blame CPS. They're no good. Plus they be selling kids. Now to me, CPS, they got a nasty job. They got a nasty job. I've literally said, and this is just my opinion, I've literally said that, by them doing that, on the one end, they're trying to be of service to try to, give children, unwanted children, to families that want them, to families that want to care for them, families that want to love on these children. And then on the other side, I get this legalized trafficking, if you will. That part. Are they doing their job by matching the right children up to the right families? You don't know until something happens. They can only do but so much. They can only do but so much. But I don't know. More and more stories comes out of the CPS conduit, if you will, regarding children given to families under foster care or adoption. And we find the weirdest things happen. And not so good things at that. And the children suffer. Children suffer for it. Yes, the rest of the kids need a better life. That's right. That's right. Flower, you think they poison them? To hide their real true crime? Just to hear that Orrin got either sick or something happened to where they had found him face down with vomit coming out of his nose, possibly out of his mouth. Lord knows how long he stayed laying there. And then contriving a plot not to give him help or get him help, medical help. Oh, man. You're going to ask a child, do you think we should call the ambulance? No, no, because if they find out, I'm afraid I'll be taken away from. That's what we found out in court. For the furthest thing from their original story, I said, that story's not going to hold up. Can't hold up. Yes, true love is what they really need. Everything else will come if the right person loves them correctly. Yes, Miss Sweets. Absolutely. They had a case in Illinois where kids were in CPS care. Over 100 died. My God. Wow. That's crazy. Thandy, thank you. Miss Sweets, yes, because no child should go through what Orrin and Orson have witnessed. Definitely. Definitely. But as for Jacqueline and Trezell West, they ain't going nowhere now. They ain't going nowhere now. We saw their faces in court. They ain't going nowhere now. Jigs up. The whole thing came out. And to hear them tell a 10-year-old, I believe it was either Adrian or Aiden, over the phone, tell the kid, you don't have to say anything to nobody. Stand up. Be a young man. Don't let anybody tell you to do something you don't want to do. We love you. We miss you. All this stuff. Not knowing that the FBI was listening in. And they played that in court. And I said, wow. And I heard the child on the other side of that phone, and it touched me. Is everything okay? And the child said, no. Are you all right? Of course the child is not all right. All this mess that child had been subjected to. Yeah. Hello, Miss Candy Cane 82. Much love to you. And that's a possibility, Will. That's a strong possibility. But to have a minor that's involved in this kind of activity, I mean, what do you think that ran through that minor's mind? Do what? Well, I don't know. Minor's afraid of being taken away. We'll never see each other again. Well, that's going to hold true now. Most certainly hold true now. They're coming in left and right. So yeah, that verdict was just. And the sentencing will even be more justifiable when we hear it. Because then we'll know how long the jail time they face. Because each count carries time. Second-degree murder carries time. Manslaughter carries time. Felonious cruelty to a child carries time. Falsifying a police report is a misdemeanor, but all of those counts stacked up 1 through 4, that's time right there. That's time. And when you think of it that way, It's like, how much time will it be altogether? How much time will it really be altogether? It'll be enough. I think it'll be enough. We're at least for one child now. Hey, boss, how you doing? Boss is in the building. I had dropped the link. What's the matter? Nobody wants to come up and do a little chit chat with John Q? I had dropped the link. Boss has been busy. 54 has been busy. We're going to have a 9 o'clock private session over at 54's house. You hear my phone? It's going crazy. But yeah, if anybody wants to come up, like I said, I wasn't going to be on here long. I just wanted to give a shout out to my people, let them know I'm still here. I know it's been a while since I've been on. Be making more time. Spend some time with y'all. I'm still working on the Daniel Robinson case, hoping to have David Robinson. We had a schedule conflict the last time. I know he's busy still working on his side, but I'm looking to get that locked down and get a time date on that so that this way we can go ahead and get an update on that case where 25-year-old field geologist Daniel Robinson went missing out of Buckeye, Arizona. But at the same time, Summer Wells did. In the same month, about a week apart. Oh, there he is. What's that, brother?
What's going on, my brother? Can you hear me?
Oh, you know we're busy this weekend.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so thank you for jumping up and saying hello. What are some of your thoughts about today's events in the courthouse in Kern County regarding the boys?
Well, first, let me speak to the people that's speaking to me. What's up, Flower Bloom? Will Forever, PUBG. What's up? Salute to everybody in the chat. What I would like to say, man, is just something that just crossed my mind. I know we're in the internet era. We're in the social media era. And there's a lot of cases that can be helped by social media, and some of them are hurt by social media. But I stand 10 toes down that this was one of them that was helped. You know, the people came out in mass numbers and they adopted these kids as their own, and they kept their foot on the neck of law enforcement to make sure they followed through. So I want to say salute to everybody who followed this case all the way through from day one to today, where we actually got some type of justice. No, we haven't seen the sentence yet, but we knew from day one what this was all about, man. And we was right.
Yeah. Yep, I couldn't agree more. You know, there's sometimes, you know, we take a look at, these cases that pop on and, we can tell firsthand, there's something wrong with this one. And as soon as we saw Jacqueline Trezell West make that press conference outside in California City, California, where they were living at the time, I felt right there. I said, "Wait a minute, they're not looking good. What's going on? What is going on?"
Right. Yeah, this case was obvious from the first time we heard them speak. They would have been better off shutting their mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm glad they spoke, because the truth, you can't hide it. It don't matter how hard you try. You can't hide the truth. Whether you tell a lie, people can see the truth in your lies. And that's what happened in this case. And I think we all was kind of nervous on how long it took for them to even arrest him, but they got the job done. So
Yeah,
shout out to him, man. What's up,
yeah.
Shamina?
It was like a year before they actually had taken them into custody.
Yeah,
I mean, Lord have mercy. Never went out to search for the boys. Never built the search party. And you would think, they would be the boots on the ground that, should have been, but they weren't there. More the neighborhood out of California City, California was there. And then Bakersfield showed up. It's like, okay, so where's the grandparents? Where's the parents at? They're hiding, not saying a word. And if they did say anything, it came through, I guess, Trezel's brother, Jamal.
yeah.
Oh, well, so stop harassing my family and this, that, and the other thing. Harassing? Your family's not doing anything for 2 missing kids? Come on now.
I wonder
People are going to feel some kind of way about that. Damn.
Absolutely. I wonder what he's feeling right now.
Yeah.
I wonder what the mother and the father of Trezel West, I wonder what they're feeling right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Edie from Aussie just woke up. Fabulous news of the guilty verdict. Yes, Edie. Definitely. I mean, it was like, okay, what is this family doing? They're standing in the shadows, not doing a thing. Meanwhile, people who are not even related. Well, definitely had biological family members out there. Ro was out there, and I mean, on the ground with a team of people on the ground. AV Watchman, Matt from AV News, I think it is, News Crew or something like that, and all the folks that are out there in California was boots on the ground, so to speak, the ones that were following the case and whatnot. Even had a couple of YouTubers get into trouble from time to time, But Duty Ron, being as heavily supported in this case, helping to, get some kind of funding for some of the bulletin boards that went out there in California, So yes, boss, I truly agree. There's sometimes social media can hurt a case, and sometimes social media can really help in a case like this. And this one, we all win.
Yeah.
We all won out on it.
Yeah. Everybody who followed it through, man, take a bow, pat yourself on the back, because nobody could have did this by themselves. Law enforcement did a great job, but I think a lot of things that we put on social media helped. It helped, and the family, like you just said, John, with Ro and all them not letting up played a very important part. So I want to salute to the biological family who did not let up. They kept their foot on the neck like, nah, we need something done, and we need it done now. I just wish, at the end of the day, I ain't gonna lie to you, I wish somebody would have said something. One of the two would just directed us to where them kids was at, man. That's because they deserve a homegoing. You feel what I'm saying, man?
Yes.
One thing that bothers me.
Yes, they definitely do. And the hard part, I guess, for me, yes, we got some justice on this one. Just like Ahmaud Arbery.
Oh yeah.
We got justice in that one too, But the hardest thing is hearing the biological mother, Ryan Dean, on one of her news clips. She's sitting there and she's crying, and all she wanted was her boys back.
Yeah.
She will do whatever it takes. She would, You know, she was working, she had a job, she had some money, you know, a loving family and all this other stuff, and how she eventually got tied up into, you know, what was going on with CPS and everything, and maybe the stuff that they had to take her through or try to put her through, you know, only to a point to where, you know, the boys got shoveled off to foster care, and then all of a sudden, you know, got to the West and they decided to adopt them, and boom, you know, she's like, what?
Yeah, I hope, you know,
I feel for her.
they do more extensive background checks, because if they wouldn't have took these kids from her, them kids still would have been alive, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. Absolutely. There'd have been no need for a case like this to ever show up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
have we heard any updates on the lawsuits that, you know, the different family members have taken out? Have we heard anything on that?
Ooh, there was a little bit of buzz regarding the civil trials that were being held both by Brian Dean and Charles Pettis, the biological mother and father of the boys, and I think in both cases, if not from one, there wasn't sufficient evidence that was provided to the court in order to any kind of findings for them in regards to suing CPS for what they did. You know, even though they weren't notified, Charles Pettis wasn't notified. Ryan Dean's dad wasn't. I mean, no one was notified by these people before they put the children up for adoption. So they had a claim, but it wasn't enough for some strange reason. And that could have possibly happened. I don't know if it was more for the biological father than Ryan or the other way around. I'm not sure, but it was very light buzz about that. But nothing else had hit the fan, you know, in regards to anything pending right now. Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Would you say CPS failed these kids? And if
Yeah.
you do, tell me why. There's
Yeah.
several reasons I can point out, but what's your reason on how
Yeah.
CPS?
You know, I mean, you know, failure to contact the family tree, the biological family tree. I know it has had to be somebody in the family that could have taken those boys, at least under foster care, not through adoption, but at least under foster care up until Ryan completed any kind of CPS requirements that she needed to, you know, complete.
All right. Wasn't it said that the mother of Ryan Dean wanted the kids, or was it the father?
I'm sorry, say again?
Didn't they say Ryan Dean's mother wanted those kids, or was it Pettis' mother wanted those kids?
I think Ryan Dean's mother wanted them. I believe that was the buzz on that.
Mm.
But to be denied, I didn't get that part.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't either. That's crazy.
Yeah, I did not get that part, and I'm like, okay, so wait a minute, you know, and then the length of time that it took to go from foster care to foster care and then to adoption to the Wests, you know, and it just seemed like once they got to the West, that's when everything like picked up real quick. Like, yeah, we'll take them. Now only knowing the motive now as to the reason why they took them.
Yeah, Marley 13, I did see your email. I haven't got a chance to click on it because when I got off, I had a lot to do, but I will go and look at it. Did you take a look at that email, John?
No. Let me see what that is about.
What's up, Blue Devil? Blue Devil G.
Yeah, Blue Devil G is up in the building, so I want to let you and Boss know. I know you're busy and was hoping that y'all saw it. Okay. All right, I did receive it, and could you please check this out and reminds me of Classic and Sincere. They were traveling to a funeral home from Georgia to Chicago, got stopped in Tennessee, and kidnapped these kids for less. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll look into that.
Yeah, we definitely look into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Marley. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's,
But
it's,
yeah, I mean, so what are your thoughts about regarding CPS? Do you think they move too fast, or they failed them in some kind of way?
let me start slow. Let me
Okay.
just get this out. I don't. From what I remember, she had a couple of different issues, and I guess when it went to the final one, where I think his leg was broken or something like that.
Right.
At that point, they started looking at, okay, these kids are not safe in this home, and when CPS is called for whatever reason, now they're involved. Anything that continues to happen to these kids, they will be notified. And if it's consistent, they don't really look. I can't. I don't want to say this, but that's what it seems like. They don't look deep enough for evidence. Like, okay, this was an accident, because they don't know if what happened to that kid was an accident compared to child abuse. They just said, okay, we've had enough. Let's take these kids from them.
Hmm.
And from what I heard from Ryan Dean, and you just quoted what she said. I got a job. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. She sounded like a mother who shouldn't have lost them kids. So yes, I'm going to say CPS failed those kids because they reacted, I feel, the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
gotta understand, kids are kids. Things happen. Things happen. And it's not necessarily that the parents are unfit or they're abusive, but I understand why they get involved. I understand that. But when you take a kid away from a loving parent and place them into the devil's hands, you're
Yeah.
not helping the situation either.
Yeah. Definitely. And I would have thought too during the trial, and this crossed my mind too. I would have thought too during the trial that a family doctor from the Wests would have showed up in regards to any kind of uh, checkups, medical checkups for the boys out of post adoption. You know, you take your kids once a year to have their, physical checkup, their annual checkups. None of that showed up. You know, to give even an idea of how the boys were doing, whether they were malnourished or whether they had a sickle cell anemia or whether they had, any issues. Is just nothing.
Mm.
And I just felt that kind of odd, for boys being that young, 3 and 4. Okay, you had them, out of what, April of 2019. You went through an adoption. Okay, so 20. All of a sudden, now a year later, a little over a year later, there was no medical report. They hadn't seen a doctor, family physician, annual checkup. Wow. I said, okay, that's interesting. It's like they just kept those boys under wrap
Yeah, I mean, you
more
you
than
got
anything else.
you got parents who have 2 biological kids, 2 adopted kids, and was it 2 foster kids?
Yeah.
My question is, the foster kids, were they ever planning on adopting them, or they just wanted the check?
Most likely what Edie just said. Sounds like a racket to me for money. For money. If they were getting at least $1,000 each for those children outside of the biologicals, that's $4,000. Depending on whether there was any special needs there, we don't know. We really don't know, and they pay more, for children with special needs if there's any kind of issues there and stuff like that. But everything was just kept quiet. So between CPS, we thought we'd hear from them.
Let me ask you this, John. When it comes to adopting kids, is there government funding for that as well?
Well, that's where CPS gets their funding from. It's all government funded.
For adopted kids? I'm talking about like for
post-adoption?
Like if you want to go adopt a kid or kids in this case, are there funding to the adopted, the parents that are adopting these kids? Do they get any type of government funding for that? Or is this, once you adopt them, it's your responsibility?
I think it's all income based, based on what the general household makes. Now, we know that both Jacqueline and Giselle didn't work. So, if they got 100% funding for any child, either foster or not adoptive at the time, they would qualify. They would qualify. I think, I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Lady Queen or Crenshaw or Miss Lynn from adoptionscans.com. I did a live with her. She came in and gave her input as to how the laws work in California. They're different than the laws here in New York. So each agency, I guess, dispenses whatever services that they have under, their federal funding from the government.
So that brings me to my next question, which I'm gonna direct this to the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you would allow parents to adopt kids who don't even have a job. Let's think about this now. Would you put a 1 in the chat? Put a 2 in the chat if you would. I need to know both sides. Because if you don't have a job, why are you adopting kids? You don't have a job. It costs money to take care of kids.
Yes, it does.
Am I the only one seeing this? Like, I'm thinking like if I was just, if I had my, holding these kids, waiting for them to be adopted, you think I'm going to let them go to a family who don't have a job? Do that make sense, John? Help me out, bro.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's like going to the bank and asking for a loan of some kind, and you ain't got no job. You got no paperwork, nothing. But the bank is going to give you the loan anyway, and you've got no collateral. I want to buy this car. Okay, well, what's your income? Don't have none. Oh, okay, we'll give you this loan.
Yeah, trust me, because when I went to buy my house back in 2012, they want to see my bank account statement for the 6 months previous to me wanting to buy this house, because they want to see if I had the income coming in to know that I'm going to be able to buy this house or pay these monthly payments. You see this family coming in here and they don't got no income coming into the house, but the only income they may have is because they're foster parents. Oh no, I'm not sending these kids over there with you.
Right.
No.
Yeah, not less. Now this was the thing too that kind of went back and forth. Not unless, Trezelle's mom had some kind of connection. in that
Heard.
somewhere.
I heard.
There was a little tweak about it. There was a little buzz about that being a part of it, but we didn't know whether that was true or not. Didn't know. Yeah.
I remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, definitely.
Shamina says, I think it goes by state because here in Texas, you don't get funding post-adoption. You do for fostering, though, which I understand that. That's why the foster parents are foster parents because they want the check. When it comes to adoption, you're saying, I want to be the parents of these kids and I can take care of them myself.
Right.
I feel like there should not be no government of funding for adopting kids, because if you're adopting kids, you should be financially stable to take care of them. Why would I put these kids in your hand and then I gotta help you take care of them? That don't make sense, bro.
Yeah, definitely. And it once again, it proves what Kern County is doing. If that's the case, that you're giving kids away to families that don't have no work history or aren't working at the time, not even income qualified in any way, shape, or form. But maybe you'll write down in the notes, oh, well, since that puts both parents together at home, the children will have both parents at home raising and taking care of them. You can't justify that.
And they're going to feed them off of love, huh?
Yeah, right. Just that. Nothing else, just that.
Man, I think when you try to go adopt the dog, the process is more strenuous than this.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Now, Shamina said, I have two friends who adopted. They don't get any financial assistance. Wow.
And not to sound bad, I mean, they shouldn't. This is a choice. It's a choice. You made this decision to adopt these kids. Nobody put these kids in your lap and say, you got to take care of them. No, you wanted to do it. So obviously you have the funds to take care of a kid. A lot of people who adopt kids, they can't have kids. So they want these kids for themselves because they can't have them.
Right.
So what? Oh,
yeah, I know.
It makes me mad, man. It just angers me when I think about it.
Yep. Randy said the state of California pays foster parents an average of $1,000 to $2,609 per month to help with the expenses of taking care of the child. In California, I don't know what it is here in New York, but you would figure along those guidelines, there would have to be some kind of income qualification for it.
You would think.
Yes. Yeah. Are you working? Yeah, I work, as a sanitation worker. My wife is a nurse over at such and such hospital, or she does CNA work, or she works as a secretary in a doctor's office. Okay, all right. So since your income is this, we can give you and provide you for the children for this, which doesn't take away from your overall household income at your expense. We'll cover it. That makes sense. But for them not to have been working and this happened, it'd make you scratch your head. Well, what the hell was CPS thinking about? Not unless, like I said, they made a special note in the notation about something, but that was never reviewed by the prosecutor or even brought up in court. The money was.
Right.
So I thought they were going to be eventually getting, okay, so they'll probably get one of the CPS workers who was probably handling the case, from foster care to the adoption process and what judge signed off on it. No, but they never went there. I was looking for that. I heard Trezell had a criminal history. Is that true? Ra the creator. Good
What up,
question.
Rob?
Yeah. Did he?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, so I can't speak on it personally.
Yeah. Definitely. Parents may be reimbursed up to $400 per child for eligible adoption expenses, such as reasonable and necessary adoption fees, court costs, attorney fees, and other expenses. I hear you, Randy. I hear you. And it would only make you think, because that's the question that we brought to the roundtable behind the scenes. Did CPS fail these kids? Are they just moving them through a system, because they got more kids looking for parents than anything else out there in California? So whoever shows up, signs the application, sits in front of us and says, yeah, we want to adopt, hey, first come, first serve. And here comes Jacqueline and Giselle West, of all people. And we got 2 biological kids, and we're also adoptive parents for 2 of the other children. So was that the qualification? Also, since they're already taken care of 2 that we've already signed out, well, yeah, I guess, they're a young couple and, look like they're well-to-do. Making decisions like that.
Yeah, Shamina, you're right. These are the type of parents that should have the kids, those that are financially stable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need no help from the government. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're saying, give me these kids so I can put myself in debt. What?
Yeah.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
So yes, salute to your friends. We need more people like them, should I say?
Yeah, most certainly. So it's crazy how they operate, and if they're backlogged, or if CPS even has like monthly quotas or something like that, which I'm sure they do, and it's based on the funding that they get either from the state, regarding the services that they have to qualify for, or else they'll lose that money. So yeah, so is CPS like some kind of a factory? Like I said, like in my opinion, they're like a trafficking agency in and of itself, but a legalized one more so than an illegal one, because there's paperwork and documentation that goes with it versus, the trafficking that doesn't.
Now the question is, and we were just talking about this earlier,
Mm-hmm.
why they didn't give the kids to the biological grandparents.
Right.
Where are these kids that they have? Where are they gonna go now? Are they gonna go into the system? Are they gonna allow them to go to their biological parents? Because you done failed these kids once. And I ain't talking about the biological kids, because obviously they didn't do anything to them that we know of. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm.
But the other 2 that's not biologically theirs, I wonder where their biological parents are at.
Mm.
Because I know they are familiar with this case. Now I don't know if they know that their kids are in the hands of these 2 criminals, but Rondine knew what her kids was.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Which is
Right.
weird.
Yeah, and you would think that she wouldn't know anything.
Exactly.
Anything, because usually when they have a process like that, unfolding and ongoing, You know, they don't want the biological family to interfere with the foster care family that they're with, or the adoptive family that they're with, you know, because it's I would think, psychologically damaging to the kids because of what would we going back and forth, you know, from the biological to the adoptive. No, the kid's mine. No, you don't have, you know, back and forth, you know, could be psychologically damaging to the kids, you know.
I think it was
So
just handled.
to prevent that, you know, you shut off all information access, everything. West just wanted free money without responsibility. I agree, Randy. I truly do. He ended up getting it, and the wrong thing ended up happening. I know people whose lives are being foster parents. They never worked. The kids' money is their income. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop down for a moment. I got to make a run real quick, but I'll be still listening, bro.
Okay, bro. I appreciate you dropping by.
No doubt.
As always. As always.
Hey, if you still up when I come back, I'll pop back up. Hey, salute to everybody in the chat, man. One love, y'all. Be easy.
All right, boss. I'm dropping a link one more again last time. One more again last time. It's a joke, and the politicians don't give a damn. Yeah. Who said that? Yeah. You know, money dictates what they do. Money dictates exactly what they do. And that's really unfortunate. Now, how do you match up? Where's the matchup here? How do you match this up? How do you even get to a point of okaying and approving an adoption without truly knowing that the placement is going to hold? Especially for two rambunctious boys, whether they were just two or all six. It's crazy. Just caught the live. We'll join the replay crew. Good to see you. Okay, Pen 1010. It's crazy. Yeah, that's how we found out that we're missing, from the biological mom. You know, and you can just imagine right now, on her side, not only what they were going through these last 2 years, but how they were feeling this morning. When the jury came in, that courtroom was packed, and they read off the verdict. Each count, 5 of them, the main ones from both indictments. Now, it's unfortunate they couldn't find anything for Orson, but for Orrin, they had plenty. They had plenty. I wanted him for both of them, though. But from almost little to no information about what exactly happened to Orson, I can imagine how much discussion they might have had behind the scenes, and why they came out yesterday regarding 2 notations that they had given to the judge regarding the counts 1, 2, 3 for Orrin, 4, 5, 6 for Orson, and how to decide between the 2. And they were given that guidance. They implicated their oldest child in the murder of Orrin and Orson. Yep. And all they needed was an inference to Orson. But they didn't have it. They didn't have enough. Orrin was the one who really suffered between three people, with a child, a minor, being a witness. But we still don't know exactly what transpired. Other than the fact that Orrin wasn't breathing, his skin was pale, he was cold to the touch. Now, who's saying this? The minor, hence the witness. Hence, you have to go according to the witness statement. And the defense could not tear that apart. Neither could the defense tear apart Salas's statement about seeing Trezell and Jacqueline in the alley with the cooler near the dumpster in Bakersfield. And he couldn't shake Grandma's statement, Wanda West's statement. I hadn't seen him since February. What are you talking about? You can imagine what the California City Police and Bakersfield police had said to investigators, or to the investigators of both departments. Huh? Well, wait a minute. Didn't they come on the 19th? No. They didn't come on December 19th. Nope. Last time I babysitted the 4 boys was back in September 18th, when they were moving. When they were moving. Just 4. So hence, the state makes their case. Well, where are the boys there? Oh, they're over Maria's house. That's right. That's right. Oh, that's what she assumed. They were over Jacqueline's mother's house. But the poor woman only spoke Spanish. 1. 2, she couldn't even remember their names. And 3, anytime they did any kind of FaceTime, she would never really see the boys in the FaceTime. So where was the camera pointed? At the ceiling? Crazy. They were looking for an income source, and they found Orrin and Orson. Yeah. Yep. No doubt, Will. No doubt. But to report Orson as also running off that day is enough to prove to me he isn't alive. Yeah. Even to say also that a camera had caught the boys walking down the street. I was looking for that. We never saw it. I was also looking for the camera that was allegedly supposed to capture Jacqueline outside looking for the boys when they went missing in California City, California. I didn't see that either. Oh yeah, somebody must have come along and taken them. Yeah, most definitely. Somebody definitely took them. Really? John, you say it. First come, first serve. Yeah. And that's how it was treated. That's my personal feeling. I think that's how CPS handled it. First come, first serve. We got a quota to meet. We got young people coming in and out. That's California. It's California, folks. I'm not saying anything bad about California now. But this is what happened. First come, first serve. Got to get him through the system. And for an adjustment period for young children like this would have to have some kind of length to it. A year and a half, 18 months, 18 months, 24 months at tops, especially for post-adoption, to make sure that the placement is solid. And it didn't seem like that to me. How could you have a solid placement? Then you have one brother that's murdered in Bakersfield. Now, what do you think the other brother's thinking or feeling? Where's my brother? Where's my brother? Where's my brother? I don't see my brother. Where's my brother? He's looking in the bedroom. He's looking in the bathroom. He's looking in the living room, in the kitchen, back to the bedroom, back to the living room, back to the kitchen. He's like wondering what's going on. Possibly freaked him out. Got into his system. He became rambunctious, uncontrollable, crying, yelling, screaming. He wants his brother, and something else occurred. And each time you think about that, yeah, man. My goodness. It hurts. It really hurts to hear how these boys were actually treated, especially the picture of, I believe it was Orson in the picture standing up against the wall. He had a big head and a small body, like he wasn't being fed properly. That picture, I said, oh my God, are you kidding me? Is this real? Because at first I thought it was Photoshop, but they had it in court. And that was a tough picture to look at. A very tough picture to look at. So you can imagine how Orrin was at the time. Now they're going to make these kids drink out of a bottle. What does that say? If you don't eat your food properly because you're chewing with your mouth open, we're going to grind it up, put it in a bottle, and make you drink it? Enough to cause you to get sick? Lord knows if the damn thing was clean. Something didn't agree. You know, as a kid too, there's certain foods that there's certain foods kids don't like. I know, hell, you know, when I was like 5, 4, best as I can remember, I hated okra. I still don't like it. Okra. my grandmother, my father's side said, "You better eat it." No, I'm not touching this. No. I had to replace it with collard greens. I like the candy yams better. But they wanted to make sure I had, you know, green vegetables. But I hated okra. I hated liver. Still hate liver. I don't understand how people can eat that. But they eat it. So there's going to be certain foods children are not going to like. I'm sure that there are foods that you can name right now that you don't even like, and you're an adult. So to think of it, you know, malnourished because the kids are not eating the foods that they're providing for them. Oh, well, you don't want to eat? Go to your room, go to sleep. Don't eat your food, go to bed. You know, you can almost hear that coming out of their mouths. I believe Trezell and Jacqueline got rid of both brothers around the same time, but that's just my opinion. I hear you, Randy. And you know, I thought about that too. And I said, well, wait a minute. If one of the children said they heard a thump in California City, California, regarding one of the boys, and this was after Orrin, and my question today is, what would make you want to take out the second child? Something already happened to the first, and it could have been an accident, like the defense attorney said. Because if you go back and listen to his closing argument, he said it was an accident. He said accidental tragedy. And I'm saying, okay, what accident does he know about? What was the accident? If you heard Timothy Hennessy make that statement, which is as plain as day, he said it was an accidental tragedy. This was a tragedy. I don't even think he meant to say it was accidental. But what was accidental? And I was okay, Heather, you love you some fried okra. Okay, well, I don't know. Okra just okra doesn't settle right with me because classic has chubby cheeks. People miss that. No, you're right. But you knew he was malnourished. Yeah, no, I hear you, Ron. It was a slimy thing for me too, okra. Please. I'm sorry I said that. They put locks on the fridge. Yeah, the kitchen's closed for the night, like a business, you know. Birth parents are going to have this on their mind for the rest of their life. Yeah, definitely. And they're going to sit with it. And I hope they lose sleep to a point to where they would have nothing else to say other than, look, I got to get this off my conscience. God is touching me. I need to tell you where they are or what we did and get the rest of it. Because right now, the way things stand, even though that there was a just verdict on at least 5 counts of the 7 counts that they were indicted for, we need to know where the boys are. What'd you do? Where'd you take them? Where'd you put them? Where'd you leave them? At least that, so they can get the proper service. A proper burial, proper arrangements, proper service. Oh, man. I'm still feeling it from this morning. Actually, I've been feeling it for the last couple of weeks. But my hat's off to the Kern County prosecutor, Eric Smith. He did a fabulous job laying out the evidence as best as he could. There were no high notes other than listening to the recordings of the conversations during the interviews of Jacqueline Trezell, what Wanda West said, what Maria Hernandez said in the court proceedings regarding not even knowing the boys' names. The suspicion that the California Police Department had about Jacqueline Trezell's statement when the boys first went missing, and the questions that they had asked them, the footprints that were not in the backyard, nor anywhere around the outer perimeter of the house, nor any neighbor who witnessed the boys in any way, shape, or form being out in California City, California, nor any camera in California City, California ever capturing the boys. It's a lot. See, but the one thing, the toughest thing that the defense attorneys had in this case, the toughest, was proof of life. They could not pinpoint proof of life for the boys. Thanksgiving, nothing. Their birthdays, nothing. Other than the fact of that July 25th picture, the one where we actually see Orson standing in the hallway, but nothing else. Proof of life. It takes us before the September mark and then nothing after. That was the only picture they found as proof of life, July 25th. That was a hard picture to look at, man. You mean to tell me out of all the pictures that they could have possibly taken, that's the one they found in Jacqueline's phone? Oh, I've got some new pictures in my phone, but they took the phone. They took our tech. I was looking for the new pictures because that determines a timeline and proof of life. But nothing showed up other than that July 25th picture. That's hard. What the rental guy, the realtor guy, said he saw 5 kids. And that was, oh, I forget the date. I mean, I got so much running through my mind. September the 11th, when they went to get the keys. Realtor wanted to show them around, show them the yard, show them where the boiler room is, the breaker switches, all this stuff. Only saw 5 kids. 5. Okay, Orrin wasn't with them. That says a lot. That said a lot. So this now, going forward, is there's going to be plenty of discussion on this because we don't know what else is going to come out. What we do want to come out is where the boys are. I hope and pray that comes out. But it don't seem like Jacqueline and Trezell have a heart at all. No conscience. Did you see them in court when I showed the court review? Did you see their face? Just, oh shit. Count 1, second-degree murder, guilty. Oh shit. Count 2, count 3. Oh shit. Well, I guess we're gonna have to appeal. We get to sentencing. Then we'll see. And I think according to the record here, July 13th, which is not too far away, determination on whether the West will be tried on counts 4 and 5 will be made public at sentencing. So hopefully, maybe even at that point, we will find out about any additional charges, whether those charges will come through or not, or whether prosecution will proceed on those 2 charges that they couldn't vote on at that time. At that time. But for now, we got 5 on the table, 5 stuck. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I like to feel that there's a balance about things. There were 2 boys. One, because of one, the charges came in. I like those charges to really, really stick with both of them. For both of them. Right. It doesn't say. I think I was thinking about the accidental tragedy may have been applied to Orson in some way, shape, or form. But I still need clarity on that. I don't think they're going to say anything where the boys until their appeal process is over. Hopefully, Candy. Hopefully, they'll say something. There was a story where a brother and sister of 18 years old, so-called preachers, had taken them to a homeless shelter and then dropped them off right on their 18th birthday. Wow. Damn. 18. Will said he hates liver since he was a kid. Hey, you will. No, I don't see how people can do it. I don't know. My neighbor's, oh, John, you're gonna love this liver. What? No. I don't do liver. Oh, no, you haven't had my liver. No, just don't say liver. I'm not doing liver. Fried chicken, baby back ribs. Give me a ham, okay. Hamburger, okay. I'm still having to, I'm telling you all my food story. I'm still having to even think about dealing with, well, oxtails, okay. I've gotten past a couple of things with that. Didn't even know I was eating oxtails because I thought it was something else. And somebody said, no, those are oxtails. And oh, really? Oxtails? Oh, damn, they're good. You got any more? But yeah, the pig's feet and the chicken. No. Yeah, I can't do that either. I just learned too much about what they are to even think about entertaining them for food. Oh man, how you doing, RJ? He over there laughing. Oh man, yeah. Let's get off of that food stuff now, because yeah, okra I couldn't put away. I couldn't do it. I see one of them turning on the other when they lose their appeal. I hope so, Randy. I hope so, man. I really do. You know, because it's going to be a different thing now that they're not leaving the brick building, you know, with the bars on them. Maybe their conscience will get to them now that they know that the preliminary stuff has been taken care of. And I'm sure that their attorneys, you know, did let them know. There's a possibility that you'll get, 20 to life on this one, 20 years on this one for the manslaughter. Felonious cruelty to a child, it could be 15 to, like I said, the counts are going to stack up. And we will know what the full time duration is concurrently when that time comes. Maybe that ought to shake them loose or shake something loose. But for now, they are not going nowhere ever at this point. I just feel bad about the other children now because they're going to learn the truth that mommy and daddy are going away. And they're not going to Wanda's house. They're not going to Maria's house. They're not going to California City, California. They're going to be behind a brick wall with bars with some other people that may find out what they did, and hopefully they can survive. Because that's what they have to deal with too. Another world. Sweet Pea. In the state of California, the punishment meted out for voluntary manslaughter is anywhere from 3 to 11 years in prison. Okay. All right. Double that because of the two of the, well, it would be for each. Right. Okay. They couldn't find it for Orson, but they got it for Orrin. They better turn on each other before sentencing. The appeal won't help them because most appeals don't ever get overturned. Yep. No, certainly. Big Bubba waiting for him, Sweet Pea. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because this was all over the news in California. all over the news for the past 2 years in California. So you know what them brothers are going to be thinking if they, oh, there he is. Look who showed up, fellas. It's Trezell. You still need that firewood? You still cold? Don't worry about it. We'll warm you up. Come on, shake it loose. That's the only thing that's missing from this case. If convicted of a felony offense, the defendant could face a sentence of 2, 4, or 6 years in state prison and a fine up to $6,000. I tell you, Randy, you are still booming. Good to know you're still around and still online. Sentencing could be 25 to life. Yeah. See, that's going to be on the, that's going to come out on the second-degree murder charge. And Cynthia Zimmer, the DA, District Attorney of Kern County, when she came out and said why they were indicted, I'm like, oh, what evidence does she have that they took to the grand jury for them to have indicted both of them? And that they were gone 3 months prior to the 911 call. So why did they make the call then, you would ask? Why did they wait so long? Because they wanted time to elapse until they felt that they were in a corner to make the announcement at that time. But I still say, what prompted them then to have made the call? Was somebody coming over? Was there some kind of a welfare check going to take place? Somebody come by to check up on them? Oh, hell, that can't happen. Well, plan B, make the call. Now get outside and act like you're looking for them, like we talked about. Go around the block for 6 minutes and then come on back and let's just say we look for them. Even though the camera didn't pick us up outside. And even though that they only seen us take 4 boys, because the 2 other boys was at Maria's house. Lies they spun. Big lies at that. They already whooped Jackie's ass. Her face was bruised. Oh no. When did this come out? Oh, when she was inside, most likely. Maybe they're getting to her. Who knows? Had some health problems, but getting better. Good, Randy. I'm glad that you're getting better. I am so glad you're getting better. Miss Justice is in the building, y'all. Oh, yes. The biological mom was looking for them. They moved and didn't let her know. Yeah, I know. They kept everything a secret up until it came out in court. I'm just glad that they were indicted to get caught in order for us to get the rest of the story that they weren't telling us. I'm just glad that they got caught. Because Lord knows where they would have went to. So they probably, most certainly had them under some kind of surveillance. Oh, it's on a pic? Okay. It's on a pic. Well, email it to me. You got my email right underneath in the description box of every single live I've done. Email it to me if you get a chance, Ra. That way we can definitely continue to collect a lot of the evidence and facts as we continue to proceed following this case. It's not over. It's not over. You know, and if they gave the excuse that they couldn't find the father, didn't have a place or an address. Now, I know that they had some paperwork issues concerning notifying Ryan. I know they had some paperwork issues notifying Ryan. That I had a conversation with Miss Lady Queen about, and she was able to find out a whole lot that we weren't able to really discuss. I think I still got that file. Let me see here for a second. Hold on. You know me, I keep everything. Let me see if I still got that in my file. I got 1, 2, 3 envelopes. Answer to a complaint, interpretive service, declaration of default, motion, court hearing, domestic order to show cause, proof of personal income. I still got them. Restraining order. I got that too. Oh, yeah. I still got them. See, and that would be some additional things that we can go live on. I don't want to post them here because I'm still feeling this morning's edifications pertaining to the verdict. A conviction for second-degree murder carries a sentence of 15 years to life with the potential for a sentencing modification based on if the person accused of the crime has a prior criminal record. Okay. RJ Trezell is not getting any better treatment, I am sure, because of the rumor that he was submissive to. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Miss Justice, for putting my email up there. So, Ra, if you get a chance, send me that picture. I'd like to see what that looks like. Definitely. Howdy, y'all. Could be because holidays were coming up, so they had to cover their ass. Jetta, yes. They had to. Because I asked myself that question. Why make the 911 call then? Not in November, not in October. What prompted Trezell to make that 911 call just before Christmas? Now, was it because Wanda asked for a picture of the boys in the robes and they couldn't produce it because none of the 2 boys was with them? Or was somebody coming by for a visit? There was a little buzz that Ryan Dean had even gotten the boys some Christmas presents or something like that she tried to make arrangements to deliver. So I'm not even sure if that was the call point, if you will. That could have been the call point too. No, we got to go to plan B, make the 911 call. Because as soon as they did, shortly thereafter, who was on TV? It was Ryan Dean. She was part of the news that was out there. And she knew that those people did something to our boys. Mother has those feelings about things. And when she probably got there along with Charles or anybody else, the time they were delivering that December press conference out there in the street, looking around, whether they invited her in the house or not, where do the boys sleep? Mothers are inquisitive, wanting to know things. And when she got the runaround or the stall tactic, she felt some kind of way. I would have, most certainly. One time, give my mom a pack of liver. Okay. Will, you're still with the liver? You still with the liver, man? Thank you, Miss Justice, for dropping RJ's stuff down in the chat. RJ is still on the Summer Wells case. And he's been dropping some bombs on his channel about some folks. I think I caught the last replay live that you did, RJ. It was a good one too. I see you starting to flex a bit. I like that. Starting to let it go. Drop some names. Kick some ass. Shake them up. Let them come back to your channel trolling, right? You got your mods. You got your mods over there to take care of the deal. I know that. This case sounds a lot like the Summer Wells case to a degree. Yeah, I was just saying that, Randy. To a degree. To a degree. Reality has hit them hard, harder than a ton of bricks. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. But yeah, he's hitting them out the park. Him and I have collaborated on a number of lives together. RJ, who's in the building, and we came across some thoughts about that. And that 20 minutes being in the car, hot clothes, no air conditioner, stopping at all those places that day, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes allegedly there, 45 minutes allegedly there. Could Summer have swallowed some water and messed her system up? Could that have been her turning point? Candace finds out she can't wake her up in the car when they get back home. So, what do? Because I still say she's the only one that knows what happened to Summer. And to this day, she's the only one that happened to know what happened to Summer. There'd have been no way she could miss it. The treatment she got on the behavior panel, Dr. Phil, she'd rather not say. And damn she didn't either. Got up and left, crying, trying to act upset. And Don, same thing. He walking around like he's clueless. I don't know. I have no idea. No, Candace would never do anything like that. Yeah. So yeah, but I'm glad he's still on the beam doing it up. And I think there's another bomb coming on Saturday. Okay, RJ. Okay, Molena is in the building. Yeah. So we'll find out, because that story is still unfolding right now. And there are about 4 people that I believe that are directly involved. 4 people, 3 to 4 people, give or take, but a small group keeping it nice and tight. You know, I already said, who 2 of them are. Those are direct links. But Candace being number 1. And she'll never come off my list until she fesses up. There was an accident. Well, damn, it took you long enough. June's what, next month? 2 years. 2 years for Daniel Robinson, too. And you mean to tell me that, if stuff is happening by accident, and yet you're being looked at, finger pointing directly to you, because you would know exactly what happened, but you're not saying anything? That's suspect right there. Just like Jacqueline and Giselle, when they first came out, December of 2020, gave us that story. That's suspect right there. because they didn't know what they looked like when they did the press conference. Tried to blame COVID. I mean, run us around in big circles. Tiny Jones in the building. Marlena, rest in peace and paradise, sweet, classic and sincere. I know you're up in heaven. The little angels you are, playing in God's garden. Yeah. Next summer. Yeah, we're going to stay on summer too. I know I haven't really delivered much on the Summer Wells case. RJ is doing a fabulous job. I still have my thoughts about Chimney Top Loop concerning Don's ride out there. Most certainly. Why Hawkins County Sheriff's Department never searched that 228-acre land mass that's out there behind their, over the hill behind their house, where the electrical lines are. All of the muck and mire coming out of the Sheriff's Department. John Pruitt has not given, Detective Pruitt, not giving any kind of recent updates either. Neither did the Attorney General. Now, whether there's indictments coming from Utah still needs to be addressed concerning Don. That is for sure. And I'm sure that's still to come. Ms. Tiny Jones is in the building. And much love to you, Marlena, for coming in. Love your map talents. Any plans to dissect Idaho maps? Oh, regarding the Kohlberger case, you know, Jetta, you know, since you brought that up, it's like, okay, all these channels are covering that. The Kohlberg case, the what was the other one? Letitia, whatever, the Holloway case. I mean, all these different cases have been out there on other channels, you know, covered, I mean, hugely. And I'm looking for Classic and Sincere. I'm looking for Daniel Robinson. I'm looking for, who else was I working on here? Looking at other cases, and it's like, oh, so, I mean, I know that the Grizzlies are still working. Well, she does a full round robin on her channel. She does a great job too. But I haven't left the cases. Well, she can handle those cases because, you know, if she got full time to deliver on her channel, then I understand. You know, that's a job. I can't do that. It's you know, I'm just trying to get back on my schedule to come back to you at least once or twice a week and get back into my my table talk, having guests on and you know, relaxing myself. So yeah, 2 years they've been living their best lives, kidless. No doubt. No doubt. I don't think Don and Tim are the masterminds in this case. Candace, of course, involved. Yeah. Yeah. I've always pointed my finger at Candace. Oh, you just sent it to me? Okay. You got mail. Oh, shit. Is this a video? No, it's a JPEG. Okay. Hold on, folks. Let's see. Let me see what this is about here. Let's see if I can do this. Thank you for sending me the picture. Da, 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 da. Where do I want to put it? Let me see if I can get it here. Let me see if I can get it here. Boom. She does have a bruise. Oh, man. She getting beat up already. Ain't been there but a hot minute. I mean, a hot minute. Let's see. See if I can get it in the overlay. Let's see if I can do one better. Hold on. See if I can go one better. Where is it? Go to. Thank you for sending me the picture. Let's see the bruise. Having a hard time already. All right, so I put it here. And I show up here. And it should come out. Damn, I got all these pictures. Okay. Oh, they try to. All right, y'all. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Check this out. Let me know if y'all can see this. Oh, yeah. It looks like. Can y'all see that? Can I crop it? Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Maybe it'll come out there. No. Do you want to replace it? Yes. All right. Can y'all see this? Yeah. Left side. Looks like it's red. Maybe she was crying and wiping and wiping and wiping and wiping, but that looks like a. Look too happy. This sag-eyed. I don't want to say it on my channel. He looking old. He looked like Philip, right? Eyes is just as black and dark. Wow. Yeah, so maybe maybe somebody's trying to persuade her. Who knows? Because the way they looked here, far different. When they started. Far different. When they didn't want the public to see what they looked like. They had an advantage called COVID. Eric Smith, you are the man. And his opening right to his closing, especially his closing, because he tightened up the nuts and bolts in that closing. I was just so satisfied. Every time he brought up a point and reemphasized each point, that he wanted the jury to remember, it stuck. Because when he was finished, those were the points that stayed in my mind. His opening argument, the boys are dead. In his closing argument, the boys are dead. And I want you, the jury, to find for the defendants. I want you to come back with a guilty charge, period. Period. And I know that Timothy Hennessy, the defense counsel for Trezell West, I don't know, he didn't hold my attention as much as I thought he would. You know, you're proving that the boys are still missing and not dead. He didn't really push any buttons to prove anything. Couldn't give us proof of life. Couldn't pinpoint anything during a specific timeline. Their only defense was to attack the California City Police Department and Bakersfield Police Department. More so California City than Bakersfield, because those were the first boots on the ground to begin their investigation out there in California City. Going after Hightower, going after all the police. Oh, the body cams are not on. Oh, this has not been recorded. Oh, you forgot to write a report. Oh, did you report? No. Oh, you didn't write a report. How about you? Did you write a report? No. You mean to tell me that even with the sex offenders list that you guys received, you never contacted any of the 6 that were on the list? Well, we contacted 2. Oh, just 2. I see what his defense was swaying in and out of, but he never really held my attention on any given point. And as for Tora stalling, oh, wait a minute. I didn't know I had that. Ooh. I didn't know I had this one. Wow. That shocked myself. Yeah, she had puffy under the eyes and every damn thing. There she is. I'm looking at, yeah, that does look like a bruise. You're right. I didn't even know I had this picture. This was during the arraignment. And there's Taurus stalling. I think she was more of a firecracker in the defense counsel than Hennessy was. He was following her lead. I don't think I ever heard this woman as far as defense counsel for Trezell. But yeah, these 3 were definitely there. Taurus stalling here, Timothy Hennessy here. I forget, this is Fatima Rodriguez here, when they did their press conference taking on the case when they first started. I was expecting Cynthia Zimmer from the DA's office to actually jump in or chime in or be a part of the defense counsel, but she gave the case over to Eric Smith, who was also a part of the investigation team. So he was live and livid, if you will. But she delivered that message on March 1st regarding the indictment, the first indictment of these 2 clowns right here. Will never be parents again. I hope. I hope they will never be parents again. You failed. Too much. All right, let me come back to the chat here. The landowners say, please search and clear it. We will even provide you trail horses to do so, and not taking up on that is still disturbing to me. Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. And I know what you're talking about, RJ. Molly 13. Yes, please, more, John. Okay. You know me. I tried. I still think the little girl is alive and well somewhere in them hills. That's what, yeah, I hope so. I truly hope so. I try to keep neutral, but I find myself lately looking hard into can. Yeah. JDR is in the building. There will be appeals which they may win. The evidence was not that great in this case. Sorry, but that's how I feel. No problem. Everybody's got their opinion. I do believe that they are responsible for the disappearance, but the evidence. I know. When you're dealing with circumstantial evidence rather than direct evidence, I think the only direct evidence they had was the oldest boy's statement, which was the heaviest part of what they really delivered in the trial. And everything that built around it was circumstantial. And they did tell us that, circumstantial evidence cases are difficult to try, but in some cases, they are winnable. They are winnable. Yeah. She cruised and got bruised. Uh-oh. They both look evil AF. Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. She's trying hard to make eye contact, but is having none of it. Too much. Too much. JDR, I'm not so sure it wasn't her. That was the one to be feared if the rumor about his behaviors had to follow. Putting a front for the cameras. No doubt. And I was too. Marlena. I'm like, wait a minute. The lead chief out of the California City Police Department wasn't called to testify, but yet he was part of the indictment news conference. He was also part of the police investigation out of California City. I said, where's John? Where's Mr. Walker? I ain't talking about Johnny Walker either. I'm talking about John Walker. Police officer who believed that there was foul play. Why didn't prosecution or the state use his testimony? Don't know. Because during discovery, I know that there were motions to suppress. And we still don't know how much of the evidence was suppressed during the discovery. But by him not showing up in court, possibly there was a motion to suppress his statements. Scratches too, it looks like. Yeah. John, did you see my comment about Don and Dudley? Don and Dudley. Oh, I must have missed your comment, Marlena. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Dudley. I know I got that one. Because you're writing in caps, so it's easy for me to actually see what you wrote. No, I didn't get your comment. I don't see it here. And I scrolled all the way up. Sorry about that. Wells can't sell if they don't pay their property taxes. Yeah, even though it's a $230 property tax, but you got to lean on the house for property taxes. Yeah, they can foreclose. Tax people don't mess around. They don't play around. No blood, no bodily fluids, no body, no DNA, no video. I hear you, JDR. No witnesses other than the children. It's sad. I know. That's tough. And you see what the state went up against. That's a tough hill to climb. But they laid down what they could as the best evidence. You had the surveillance footage taken from the neighbor's house on the 19th and the night that the boys allegedly went missing. You had telephone conversations taken from both the West talking to the oldest child. You had the interviews, police interviews during the time they were investigating, and the comments that they made there, how their stories didn't match up. You had pictorial evidence of the home and how the bedrooms were situated, the clothes, the diapers, the toys, how the backyard was situated. I mean, all of that. It's too bad they couldn't go back to the Casa Loma apartments, to have actually taken video and photographic evidence of how they lived there in such a small complex. So it was a lot, I know, that was missing here. I don't think Don fired Dudley the day before, so Dudley couldn't verify whether Don was or wasn't at work the next day. Ah, okay. I thought that got straightened out. Because Don adamantly said that he did fire him because he was messing up, or he was half tanked or something like that. He was throwing mud here, mud there. He wasn't mixing it right, yada, yada, yada. Told him to get the hell out of there. According to Don, though, from the last I heard him make that statement regarding Dudley. I thought that got cleared up, but interesting. The investigation was not great. It reminds me of the Delphi case before the information about Richard Allen was found. Yeah. I mean, this was tough. I read it wrong. I think Don fired Dudley. Oh, okay. My bad. Thank you for catching me. I think Don fired Dudley the day before, so Dudley couldn't verify whether Don was or wasn't at work the next day. Yeah, because that's what I thought got sorted out, that Don did fire him. My bad. Don didn't have to report to anyone. He just needed to make sure Dudley didn't see him come and go. My opinion, of course. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. RJ said, yeah, DW did fire Dudley on the 14th. Just the day prior to Summer going missing. How convenient those things become when you tighten the timeline. So yeah, but I'm going to jump off here, folks. I know I've held you for almost 3 hours now. Damn, time flies. I come live, and I always say I'm not gonna be long, folks. I'm not gonna be like, oh damn, 3 hours hit already. But other than that, I wanted to jump on here, like I said, to chime in on Classic and Sincere's case. I will be back. This conversation is not over. I know that we're trying to schedule either something on 54 Keys' channel. We might do something on Boss's channel. We might do something back on here on my channel in regards to continuing our conversation regarding this. This is not over. We still have to wait until July until the sentencing comes in. So we'll have much to discuss. Maybe I'll find some additional photographs. I'll be looking for commentary from KGET and ABC 23 to see how they follow up on the case, as well as reaction to this case. I know I dropped the link a couple of times. Yeah, you know me. I try to make time for y'all. You know, not just me. It's to try to share. But I'll give you one more shake, and then I'm out. There's the link. You'd like to come up and share your thoughts. I'll give it one more shake, one more again. It was good to see Miss Q show up this afternoon, because I know she's covering the case on her channel. She'll continue to. I think there was development in, who am I thinking about? Balboa. The name Balboa. Samuel Olson's case. That's what I'm thinking about. Okay. Yeah. She got sentenced. She was prosecuted and said that was an evil one, what she did to that kid. And then lied. Then tried to trick, the name escapes me at this point. EquiSearch. Tim Rader. No, not Tim Rader. Going out handing flyers and whatnot, and her leaving the group, and he said, keep an eye on her. There's something off with her. And sure enough, they did. For those of you who remember the Samuel Olson case. You don't believe the stupid, dirty spackle story? I know. And you got to say certain things to entertain, people with. Don was definitely good with that. Definitely good with that. He's still doing it today anyway. Oh, if it was after 8, I would join. Yeah, people have time limit. I got you. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll swing back here again. I think I'll go live now that my time is starting to open up. Get back up here on Sunday, and we can continue our conversation. Now that the weekend is now here, and I said that this verdict would come in before the weekend comes, and sure enough, the jury was on time. 5 out of 7, better than none, or a hung jury, or just stuff we didn't want to hear. 5 out of 7. That's the main one, So I just wish they would had shown the proceedings in its entirety. But due to the sensitive nature involving children, I could understand that. But this was well worth listening to, at least on the audio stream that they had, and getting to a point where it culminated in the verdict, in which was stated earlier today. They're guilty. They're gonna stay guilty because they're nothing but, since the beginning, guilty. keep your head on a swivel. I know. Yeah, definitely. But there are more cases that we have to get to. We're just sorting them out. We just got finished doing and continuing to do Shanquella Robinson's case. Young 25-year-old that lost her life a day after she went to Cabo, Mexico. We've been covering that on 54 Keys' channel. At the roundtable, Felicia Johnson we covered on there. I mean, the names are starting to pop out of my head, you know. But I didn't forget about Summer. I know that RJ does a fantastic job on his channel doing it, but you put the two of us up here on this panel and we start to go into Summer Wells and start to do some map work and start to pull up pictures, and he goes in his file, I go in my file. Oh, hell. I start to brew some things up. Maybe piss some people off. Let's go troll John's channel. They're talking about Summer Wells. But most certainly. All right, folks, I'm going to let you all go. Have a good weekend. I'll most certainly touch base with you at least by Sunday. And see what we can get into. We can continue this conversation at that time. But it's good to know that I went live today. I didn't really have it scheduled. I just went on impulse. I said, okay, now that I got what I need, let me see if I go live and maybe a few people show up. But yeah, y'all showed up. Y'all most certainly showed up. I appreciate that. Yes, Marlena, thank you. Thank you. I miss you. I miss you. I miss a lot of people. Marley 13 and Miss Justice that holds it down, and Carol Smith, and oh man, there's a bunch of you. Rather Creator jumped in here. JDR, hope to see you again. Will Forever. Jetta from Texas. My goodness, we had a good group. Tiny Jones, Randy the Renegade. Please come back. I'm glad you're getting better, bro. Glad you're getting better. Missed the sound of your voice. Sweet P in the building. Yeah, a bunch of y'all came out. Miss Candy Cane 82 came out. Lori P came out. Obviously, my brother, Mr. Bossman Blake, came out. Shamina Wright came out. All True Channel supporters. Flower Bloom came out. I said Shamina Wright, Marley 13. And I will look into that story, Marley, that you sent. I will definitely bring it up and see what we can dig in there, because that story definitely is touching. Blue Devil G came out. Edie Party from Australia. Wow, talk about a time difference. Dandy P. Wood came out. Miss Sweets came out. Larissa Golden came out. Oh, the first time I saw her name, Larissa came out. Okay. Carla Izuri came out. Cheryl Lovelace came out. Y'all are too much. Even Miss Q came out. She a busy woman, but she popped up. She came out. Fire Mama 411 came out. Catherine Ivy came out. Where's Summer 1-800 TBI Fine came out. Shirley Robertson came out. Wow. Sage Sleuth is also following Summer Wells. She came out. Another content creator. Wow. Jennifer Nobles came out. Dar Jackson came out. Y'all are too much. But it's good to know that when you go live, people remember you, especially if they have the notification buttons on and they didn't get rid of John Q. That's a good thing. That's always a good thing. But other than that, I'm going to be out, folks, and I'll catch you on the next swing around. All right. Take care. Much love. As always, be well and stay blessed with Godspeed. Until then, take care.